Nikoto katoa. On behalf of the National Executive Committee of New Zealand Federation of Women's Institutes, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all here this afternoon to our AGM conference year 101 for our organisation. I extend a warm welcome to our past national presidents, Mrs Velda Howie and husband Lex, Mrs Avis Wishworth and husband Ken, Mrs Jeanette Andrews, Mrs Kay Hart, our Gold Honours recipients, delegates, members and visitors. May this AGM conference be a special time for all of us over these 2 days. Welcome also to our members who are watching this meeting online today and tomorrow. We're very happy to have you tune in with us. We have received apologies from North Auckland Federation Committee, NEC member Catherine Hopkinson, Phyllis Malcolm, Mania WI, and Jessie Hopkinson, Kainga WI. As we come together this afternoon as members and friends to celebrate another year of WI in New Zealand, we can pause to reflect on the past 100 years of this organisation and look forward to another era of WI with changes that will take us far and beyond year 101. We shall commence this afternoon's meeting with the reciting of the aspirations. And will you please remain standing as we remember those members who have passed on since we last met. Their contribution and dedication to our organisation will not be forgotten. Keep us, O God, from pettiness. Let us be large in thought, word and deed. Let us be done with fault-finding and leave off self-seeking. May we put away pretence and meet each other face to face without self-pity and without prejudice. May we never be in judgment and always generous. For all things good, make us to grow calm, serene and gentle. Teach us to put into action our better impulses, straightforward and unafraid. Grant that we may realise it is the little things that create differences, that in the big things of life we are one. And may we strive to touch and to know the great woman's heart, common to us all. And, O Lord God, let us not forget to be kind. Thank you. Your National Executive Committee are pleased to announce to you all that Her Excellency Dame Cindy Kiro has accepted our invitation to become our patron during her term as Governor-General of New Zealand. Sadly, we received this news only a couple of weeks ago, and so she is unable to be with us today due to a prior engagement. We'll now go on to roll call. Colleen will call out the Federation names, and if the delegates come up, get their card and hand over their envelope. Tony and Judy will hand them an envelope in return. And in this envelope, you'll find your handcraft mark sheets, 2023 handcraft schedule certificates and other relevant documentation.
Okay, we start with Whangarei, 6 delegates. Please let me know if you have more or less delegates. Auckland West, 3 delegates. South Auckland, 3 delegates. If one of the WI delegates, thank you, Charlene. Thames Hauraki Plains, 5 delegates. Tauranga District, 4 delegates. Eastern Bay of Plenty, 5 delegates. Northern Waikato, 1 delegate. Waikato, 3 delegates. Waikato East, 5 delegates. Rotorua, 3 delegates. North Taranaki, 4 delegates. South Taranaki, 8 delegates. Poverty Bay Wairoa, 4 delegates. Northern and Hawke's Bay, 6 delegates. Central Hawke's Bay, 4 delegates. Tararua, 4 delegates. Aurua, 4 delegates. Manawatu, 5 delegates. Wairarapa, 8 delegates. Southern Wellington, 6 delegates. Nelson, 5 delegates. Bulla, 2 delegates. West Coast, 3 delegates. North Canterbury, 5 delegates. Canterbury District, 4 delegates. 3 delegates, thank you. Canterbury East, 2 delegates. Mid Canterbury, 5 delegates. Waimate, 4 delegates. North Otago, 2 delegates. Mid Otago, 4 delegates. Eastern Otago, 1 delegate. South Otago, 4 delegates. In Southern Southland, 2 delegates. And there are 5 delegates for the NEC.
Right. I'd now like to introduce you to your National Executive Committee and Executive Officer. So they'll stand up as I call out their name once they're sitting. Jude Vaughan, Vice President Chairperson, Memberships Committee Leader. Tony Brumby, Vice President, Marketing Committee Leader. Mary Reid, Honorary Finance Officer, Operations Committee Joint Leader. Judy Cathcart, Barbara Wood, Trustee, Operations Committee Joint Leader. Colleen Dryden, our Executive Officer. And sadly absent, Catherine Hopkinson, who is our Mealing Estate Trustee and Social Issues Joint Committee Leader. These are the hard-working women who travel to our Lower Hutt office for meetings, and through the last year we have joined together for several Zoom meetings so that business decisions can be successfully decided. I'll now read my presidential address. The theme for this meeting is #WI101. Let's make the changes that will take us all forward without too much conflict and with positivity throughout the membership of this organisation. Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. Thinking together is unity. Working together is success. Committee members at all levels of our organisation are having trouble to bring in succession planning due to the effect that administration is having upon the meetings. Let's keep it simple and work together on meeting procedures this year. Hence the topic for the meeting this morning: what can be done to reduce administration for our members? Thank you, members and delegates that did attend this morning and give us support. And we look forward to hearing of any success you have with what you did here this morning, or from what you take away from the meeting to try. Now, with that in mind, let's think about what we're going to achieve this year. Will it be growth in membership? Will it be amalgamation for some federations or institutes? Whatever it is, we must hold on to the values of this organisation and remember our aspirations. Growth will come if we just remember to mention to others what we do and show how much of a difference we make in the lives of others within our communities. Keep our meetings interesting will result in members spreading the word to others and visitors wanting to join our WIs. While I was reading your annual reports, and I must mention how disappointing to have such a small number come in this year, those that I did read made me quite excited. I was so impressed by what our membership has done. There were lists of donated goods, hundreds of knitted garments, hours of volunteer time given to help many different charities, and hundreds of dollars given away to support many agencies that in turn give help to our most vulnerable people. If you think about what your federation has donated, then think about all the other federations doing the same. What a huge difference WI makes to so many families or charities each year. Thank you, members. You should be very proud of yourselves. Keep up the good work. And don't forget to include details of your WI or federation with your donations. We have to let the public know that the Women's Institute is alive and going strong and making a difference to the lives of others. Your National Executive Committee and Executive Officer have also begun talks regarding plans to move our head office in Lower Hutt. The lease for our 29 Waterloo Road office comes up for renewal on the 1st of April 2023, and so it is time to look around and decide what is the best move to make. This has been on our minds for some time now, as the quality and conditions of the office are not what we are happy with. We have to ask ourselves, do we require an office with a boardroom? Should we look for a smaller office and rent a boardroom for NEC meetings? Then we have to think about, do we archive all our paperwork, books, etc., and find storage for our other items? This is a decision that has been on the minds of your NEC for a while. The condition of the space we now lease is depressing and in need of attention. We've made a start, and this is something that will be ongoing for the incoming National Executive Committee to work on. And I'm sure that the right decision will be made, and we will hear of the progress with this during the year until April 2023. #WI101. A new era and changes are happening. Let's all stay positive and support those changes as they happen. That concludes my presidential address. Now we'll move on to the annual report, which is taken as read. Would a delegate please move the adoption? Auckland West, Manawatu. Thank you. All in favour? Thank you. The annual report is now open for discussion. There's a microphone up the front here if anybody has anything to say. Everybody's happy with it? I now declare the annual report formally adopted. Thank you, members. Financial report. I now call upon our Honorary Finance Officer, Mary Reid, to present the financial statement. Welcome, Mary.
Okay, I'm just looking at the PowerPoint guy and going, I need my clicker. You know what that means? Yes, there's pictures. Sorry, I forgot to pick it up on the way up. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Sorry, as I was telling the meeting this morning, I've been COVIDised. So I apologise if I keep having a drink of water. I've took my puffer there, so I should be okay. They say that pride comes before a fall, but I'm proud to stand here and present consolidated accounts which have been audited on time. Well, there was a lot of prayer went into that, I can tell you. This has not been possible without an enormous amount of work from all of you who are treasurers or who have helped your treasurers to fill in the Survey Monkey online. It has also required an enormous amount of work on the part of our Executive Officer, Colleen, who has had to negotiate with the accountants, the auditors, and all of the treasurers when additional information was required. I'm hoping that the simplified form that we did this year helped some of you. We will be reviewing this with the auditors and accountants that they're happy with the quality of the data we collected this way to make our report as robust as possible. There were a few who were unable to submit their information on time, and this was of grave concern to the auditor. So a word to those out there who have no alternative but to send in paper copies of accounts. Please allow at least 3 to 4 weeks for the postman to carry your letter from wherever it is in the country to Wellington. Used to be able that you could post it and it was there the next day. Sadly, this is not the way anymore. So please send them early. The week before is not early enough unless there is a miracle and somehow they arrive. Your figures are important to us wherever you are in the country, and we want you to be included. Our auditors randomly select 5 federations and 5 WIs for an in-depth audit of their accounts this year. And we'll do that each time from now on. As part of that process, there are different requirements of the documentation that they require. And we will let you know as soon as we know who has been selected. It's important that the information we require for the auditor is sent to the office as soon as possible. I've lost my space. I was being careful. This helps to avoid unnecessary delays. The auditors require all bank statements from every account held, including term investments, to audit the online figures that were entered by the treasurers. When Colleen was told of these, some of these were not told to her till we were expecting the report to come out. So it was a bit last minute. I shall be speaking to the auditors about that. Well, it seemed to work with the accountant last year, so who knows? One of the tips that we had from someone, so some of those who couldn't get them in on time went to the warehouse stationery and got them scanned and emailed to the office, which they said was great, easy to do, not too stressful. So that may be something to bear in mind if you're not computer savvy. If you know you are to be audited, please make sure that the information we need comes through first time. Worth checking the envelope twice to make sure you haven't missed something. And it's a timely reminder for all of you to make sure that your accounts are up to date, because it could be you next year. The production of the consolidated report and the audit remains an enormous part of the work undertaken in the beginning months of the year, and I am so grateful for the work Colleen does on our behalf. You fill in on the survey, and for most of you it just goes and you think, whew, thank goodness that's gone. Yes, well, then we start talking to the accountants, the auditors, the accountants, the WIs, the backs. So there's a lot of work that goes into it. Many have commented to me on the difficulty of completing the figures on time as it falls over the holiday period. And when talking to other treasurers about this to get their perspective, they suggested there's a value in doing the majority of your figures by November to December after your last meeting, so all that's left to do is any last minute entries and get your bank statements and you're all good to go. Yes? Okay. As soon as you get your bank statements, please put them in an envelope, send them to the office. Or if you're tech savvy, scan them or email them to the office. I forgot I got my clicker. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I've done the first thing, summary of reporting. So to the report, I told you last year that often they read a bit like, I don't know, the thing that sends you to sleep if you can't sleep, yeah? And it can be a bit of a glaze over. I've been where you're sitting, and it can be a bit like that. So I've tried to make it interesting. I've tried to answer some of the questions that people have asked me. So this is what's coming. So I've done the summary of reporting because I forgot to click on. The centenary income and expenditure, administration, home and country, investments, and ongoing financial management. So reporting, I've done this already. Well done. Did I say that? Well done. Come on, pat yourselves on the back. It was good. So at the beginning of the report, you'll find this thing that's called entity outputs. Yeah, did you all work out what that was? It's what you do. It's from those things you send us with all those amazing things you do. So I put this up first because I think this is awesome. Items donated, 47,843. Voluntary hours, 70,638. That's for each of you about 20 hours. It's a lot, isn't it? I think it's a lot. Go on, clap yourselves. And financial donations and grants, $114,210. You're all awesome. Hang on, I've got clickers and pages here, whatever. Right, costs for the centenary. People always ask me about this and always look at me as like, I spent it all. Okay, I did. But other people also decided what was to be spent. So, don't beat me up. And remember, this spending covered 2 years because we were collecting, getting ready, then doing it. So this was the costs of the centenary celebrations. We've tried to break it down so you can see. So the income for Napier celebrations was $32,304.25. Thank you for the 25 cents, I should say. Woo! The expenditure was $30,119. The statue income in 2021, up to the end of 2021, was $54,050. And we have received a further donation of $1,174.99 this year. Thank you. The cost of the statue was $156,000. For those of you who've seen her, I think she's worth it. I think it's lovely. It's a lasting memory and well worth a trip to Napier for. We've previously recognised the generous donation from Whangarei Federation, and we are very grateful as an organisation for that. In celebrating our centenary, which was a significant event, it was clear that the desire to produce a series of great events to celebrate the milestone and to make the costs of attending as low as possible so no one was disadvantaged, there would be a serious shortfall. And I'm sure many of you are aware that there would be. Unfortunately, that's true. But we made the decision that we would not be stingy about the celebration of our centenary and would use some of the reserves to put that right later on. And you'll remember I stood at a podium last year and said the same thing. That's what we were going to do, not from now on, but back then, it's okay. The AGM at Te Papa, the income for the AGM was $36,561, and the expenditure for the AGM was $44,729. And why, you ask? Why not? It was at Te Papa. We had that big room there and the Amoko, and the things that happened there, that's why it was a bit more than we would normally pay. But you're worth it, aren't you? I think so. I think you are worth it. Okay, administration, or as we used to call it in my federation, miscellaneous. We love that, don't we? Miscellaneous. Okay, so on the in the report, it says 99,000 and something. Sorry, I haven't got the numbers there. And so this is how it breaks down. We paid $106 in bank fees. Our accounting with Findex, Findex friends, was $17,659. General expenses, $1,709. Insurance, $1,510. Power, $1,864. And the NEC expenses, $16,952. That doesn't mean you paid us, but you paid us to travel and to be where you were going to be. Okay, so that we didn't, benefit, just to make that plain. The office, this was $4,611. The stationery, $1,369. The rent is 19,240, the telephone 3,759, the subscription to Xero, which is our accounting system, was 991, and the Napier celebrations went into that of 30,119. So that was what made up administration. Okay, home and country. Other things of interest are the costs of home and country. Last year, we reduced the printed and posted copies to 4 copies a year instead of 6, which I know was disappointing for some of you, but we need to begin to make cost savings. You will notice from expenditure that our costs reduced from 56,380 to 33,109 for 2021, which helped us to save over 15,000 as an organisation by reducing to the 4 copies 4 times a year. Bulk postage also helped, but what didn't help was that every July the Postal Service have decided to start putting up the post. So all the money you start saving starts going back out again. So in terms of savings, we are still saving, but if we went back to individual posting, back to 56,000, I'm thinking. It's a lot. So we really appreciate taking the bulk copies. And I know that causes problems for some of you in the more remote communities. I didn't want to surcharge you because you're remote. I don't think that's fair. We espouse kindness as an organisation, and I want everyone to pay the same. The availability of the magazine online from the website has proved useful, and many with poor sight are appreciative of the fact they can see it better on their iPad or tablet or computer because you can make it bigger so you can read it or see the faces in the pictures. My friend is partially sighted. She couldn't read her copy, but the Blind Foundation have fixed her computer so she can see it all in Technicolor. She loves it. So that's home and country. Investments. We have a number of investments, as you know, and changes have been made during the year as the term deposits matured, and we received little interest. If anybody got big interest from the bank, tell me who they are. I'd go with them. Many of the investments we had were run as bank term deposits and had tended to be just rolled over. And in the present climate, to be honest, it wasn't really worth it because you just get the same back. So we have a sum with Cambridge Partners, which is invested with a modest share portfolio as well as interest, as a way of trying to make sure that we can stay afloat and get some return on our investment. We use the returns from this investment to pay for the rent of the office. At the moment, investments aren't doing well either. They aren't for anybody. If you've got a KiwiSaver, it's going down. But this is a long-term saving. This is a way of preparing for the future. When the term deposits matured and we did some sorting around, we moved some into the investment portfolio and some we put back into the general fund to cover the amount that we were down from celebrating the centenary. This explains the difference in cash flow, which we had to get the accountant to explain to us. On page 14, you'll note our spending for 2020 was $366,515, with an income of just $202,447. In 2021, our spending was $212,731, with an income of $203. Oh, I wish, 203. So the spending is changed over the 2 years. The difference in that is to do with the statue, because we were asked to put the cost of the statue into 2020 and not in 2021. Don't ask me why. I don't know. This is not the time for self-congratulations. We must manage our finances well for future sustainability. So, ongoing financial management. Going forward, our finances will continue to be a struggle as we sadly lose many members as a result of the ageing process. This is to be expected. We are sad for the loss of our friends, but it also has a budgetary impact. Obviously, promoting membership is seen as a way of improving the situation, but we also have to cut our cloth, which means making hard decisions about reducing costs. We have made some of these decisions over the year, and I know many have not been popular, but we're trying to be credible and balance the books. And to be honest, at this time, COVID gets the blame for nearly everything. If we were to apply for grants, there are so many people who need grants at the moment that we come way down on the list. And it seems a bit bizarre to me that we should apply for grants to help us as a charity when we give donations to so many other charities. I should like to remind you that as we are a charity, if you are an individual member giving a donation, you are able to claim the tax back, if you're a taxpayer, of course, for that donation. All you need is a receipt. So before you hand over, get the receipt. If you send it to the office, ask Colin for a receipt. If you take a sad decision to go into recess as a WI or federation, what about investing in the future of WI in New Zealand? And if not that, at least consider the South Pacific Fund or medical research. And as an aside, I think it was wonderful that we were able to quickly send a donation to the people of Tonga with the recent eruption of the volcano. As President Fay has already outlined, we have been looking at the office space. It's clear that Waterloo Road is not really a fit for our purpose, as well as continuing problems not addressed by the landlord. The new committee will have to consider the future and how we navigate that transition. And that might look very different to you all. We might have what they call a hot desk. And that's not with a glamorous secretary, although we have Colleen. Apparently a hot desk is one you share with somebody else. There's shared use office spaces. There's lots of different configurations. And it will be down to the incoming committee to see what is best for us. So what I can say to you for that is watch this space. Oh, I've done that. Sorry, I did that bit already. So, so I would like to move, I move now, don't I? For the adoption of the financial report before you ask me questions. So can somebody do that? Thank you. I saw Whangarei first, therefore Whangarei. And, well, let's have as many down as we like. Look, Rotorua's over there, mid-Canterbury. Gosh, I can't see that far back. Sorry for you at the back. My eyesight's not that good. So now there's an opportunity. If you wish to ask me a question, I'll try and answer. Or if there's any comments you would like to make, please make your way to the front. As I said this morning, if you could avoid touching the microphone unless you have to bring it up or push it down and speak with your mask on, that would be appreciated. Thank you. And socially distance while you're waiting.
Alison Crawford, Poverty Bay Wairua Federation. I would like to extend a big thanks to Mary and Colleen for the wonderful way they've presented this report. Easy for us to understand, and the treasurers we have were delighted with the new process they had put in place. So can we all give a hand to Mary and Colleen? Thank you.
Molly Wiley, Tamatea Institute, Northern and Hawke's Bay Federation. I'd like to ask, do you know how much profit we made on the Home and Country?
How much?
Profit we made on Home and Country.
Profit. We don't make a profit. What do you mean by the costs of production?
Yes, and it's posting, including the postage.
Postage? Oh, I've got the figures. Hold on. I'd like to say something else about Home and Country. I'll just do this. Okay. Just let me get the other figures. Okay, so my other figures are in my other bag, of course. With Home and Country, we have to pay what we have there. So for this year, $33,109 was what it cost to produce 4 copies, post them out to everybody in the bulk postages. So if someone's got a calculator, because my brain won't do it, I've got brain fog, 33,109 divided by 4 is how much each copy costs. Yes. So at a rough figure, it's around $8,000, just over $8,000.
Right, and how much do we pay out of our membership fees for Home and Country?
So Home and Country is no longer separated into a different part. So Home and Country is part of the whole thing we do as an organisation. So your subs covers everything. We have tried to reduce the cost of Home and Country because we know that for some people that's an issue. But if you look at our figures, you will notice that we struggle even with the reduction of that to make things pay out all right. If you don't want paper copies, that will reduce costs. So if you're happy to just get it off the website, obviously the cost of that will go down, but they don't disappear because they are professionally prepared, and so we have to pay an editor to do that. So there's a cost involved, whether you get paper or not paper.
Oh, so
Does that answer your question?
no, it doesn't tell me how much profit you made because you can't do that.
There is no profit. We don't make a profit on it.
Okay.
It's part of your membership.
And the other question I had to ask was, how much did our auditors cost us? You said
Okay, auditors.
Findex cost us so much, but
I didn't tell you how much the auditors did I?
no.
How silly of me. I missed those. I apologise for that. Now I've just got to turn all the pages and find the right one. It's in here somewhere. Okay, so the audit fee was, and it's on page 14, near the bottom it says other trading expenses. The audit fee is $19,704. It might interest you to know that we pay the audit fee the year before, don't we? All in one go? We accrue it. Yes, we accrue the audit fee, so we gradually collect it. So we don't have to pay it all out at once. We accrue it and then pay it. So how we do that is like that, but that's how much it costs us for the audit. If you imagine that because of the new process, you no longer have to have your books audited because we pay them to do it, that's where the cost is. And they come and do your individual ones. You send us the stuff, we do it. So you don't need to get your individual WI or federation accounts audited. It's always worth getting them checked. Check your numbers, make sure your figures add up. That's a good thing to do, that's a sound thing to do, but you don't need to pay an auditor because you could be selected for the wonderful treatment of our auditor. Might as well get your money's worth. Does that answer the question about audit? Is that okay? Thank you. Sorry.
Hi. Valerie Jenner from Edgecombe Institute, Eastern Bay of Plenty Federation. Just wondering if there is still some of the cost of the statue being covered by general revenue or if it has been fully covered by donations.
It has not been fully covered by donations. Figures I gave you earlier on is about 56,000, well, probably 57 and a bit now. So no, it hasn't. We've paid out nearly 100,000 from our accrued investments to repay the general account for that. Okay. Yeah.
Janet Morrison, Wairarapa Federation. The question I'm asking is, in the Grant Thornton accounts, it's got the statement, we were unable to obtain sufficient underlying accounting records from controlled entities to support the group consolidated statement of financial performance.
Yes.
So what does that mean?
What that means is, I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that in my speech. Thank you for bringing that up. So what happened was there were 5 federations and 5 WIs chosen to be audited. And I think it was it 1 or 2 of those didn't get their paperwork in? Yes. So we reached a point where we wanted to have the report to send out to you. The auditors were already 3 days late to the timetable I'd given them. And so we reached the decision that they should just do them because we couldn't wait any longer because we wanted you to have the consolidated report. So they had to write that as part of their audit statement because we didn't get the information we required. Something I should also say about that to all of you is that if you go into recess, they can still pick you if you were active financially in that year. So if you close any time during the year, your financial accounts still have to be good to date, and the final balance obviously has to say naught, but they will want to see all of that if you're audited. And I think it was related to one of those, was it? Yeah, the problem we had was related to somebody who'd closed. So, yeah, that's quite right. I'm sorry, that's my mistake. Colleen reminded me as well. It's called brain fog. I'm sorry. Thank you. I really appreciate. That's why we give you a chance to ask questions. Anything else? Despite the cost, I still like Grant Thornton because they are good to us. They understand us as an organisation, and they've really helped us to lick the accountants into shape. So I would like to propose that we ask Grant Thornton to continue to be our auditors for next year. Could I have a seconder? Thank you. Can you see that, Colleen? There was wire wrapper there, I definitely saw. Yeah. Thank you. I think I've finished. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. That's quite a full portfolio, and you do a wonderful job. We'll now move on to the minutes of the 2021 Annual General Meeting. They have all been sent out to you, so can we move taken as read? Do I have a mover? West Coast, Poverty Bay. All in favour? Any matters arising from these minutes? No. We'll now move on to the NEC nominee speeches. First up is Adrian Allen.
So hello ladies, yes, I'm Adrian Allen. I'm from Ararimu, WI, which is part of South Auckland Federation. So I have been a member of WI since 2014. I am a mum. I have 3 children that have grown up. My youngest is at university, so not at home for the moment. And otherwise, I'm a full-time working mum too. And the reason I joined WI is I love that as women we have so many different talents that we can draw against to obviously run our homes and make our lives interesting. And I love our aspirations. I love what we stand for. And to be elected on the committee, I intend to promote those aspirations as we do. That I think in the world and what we've just been through with COVID and everything, we need it more than ever before, the way the world's turning to. So I love our aspirations, I really do. And I also intend to try and understand those federations and those WIs that have been going for many years, because as I say, I'm a fairly new member, and to be able to draw upon their expertise, to see how they run and to see what things that they've done in the past that can still be enhanced to try and promote WI, so that we get members to continue to join us, so that we continue, so we last the next 100 years. I'm loving the communication that we're receiving from National, and I intend to make sure that that keeps continuing. And I'm looking forward to joining the committee and to working with those ladies. So thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. I'm sure you're going to really enjoy being on NEC. Next is Tony Brumby.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am really pleased to be part of the NEC. The last 2 years have gone by in a flash, with COVID bringing many, many challenges. With the new committee, I will do my best to work in with the new group, do my part as a team member. I would like to continue to develop the communication within our organisation, with every member having access and knowledge about what is happening, making all members feel they are included and part of the WI family. I would like to encourage more participation and contributions to the Home and Country and the online Facebook, and just see everybody contributing and being part of that presence. So I look forward to the coming year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony. Now Judy Cathcart.
National President Fay, past National Presidents, Gold Honours, NEC, members and visitors. Accepting nomination to NEC has been without a doubt the biggest challenge I have faced in my WI journey and the most rewarding. It has been a privilege to be part of such an amazing committee, a diverse group of women with different strengths who have bonded into a strong team. We have supported each other as we face the challenges of the changing world we live in now. And we want to take WI into 2022 and beyond. With the support of my family, WI friends, I aim to work with the committee to promote the New Zealand Federation of Women's Institute in our communities. Our membership is dire. If every member found one new member, our membership would double. We must also work hard to retain the members we have. Communication is vital. The virtual world of Zoom, social media, emails and text messaging keep us connected with the click of a button. But we must be mindful that all members do not have access to the virtual world, and nothing takes the place of meeting face to face. Making a phone call, dropping a card or a letter in the post is still a vital means of communication for WI members. The need for support in our communities is greater than ever. We must all step up to motivate, inspire and encourage women in our communities to join Women's Institute. I am patient, willing to listen and want to build on the skills I have learnt during my time in NEC. I have the passion, energy and commitment to work with the committee for the future of the New Zealand Federation of Women's Institute. I stand here today, proud, passionate WI member, challenging you, the members, to be stronger than your excuses and grow the New Zealand Federation of Women's Institute. Stay strong, stay safe, and I'll leave you with this quote: kindness is free, sprinkle it everywhere. Thank you.
And now we have Jessie Hopkinson, who's going to give her speech online.
Tēnā koutou katoa. Good afternoon, President Fay Leonard, Vice Presidents Judy Vaughan and Tony Brumby, NEC Committee Members Mary Reid, Judy Cathcart and Catherine Hopkinson. Past National Presidents, Gold Honour recipients, delegates, visitors and Executive Officer Colin Dryden. I was hoping to deliver this speech in person, but COVID has unfortunately hit our household, which means I'm making this video instead. For those of you who do not know, my name is Jessie Hopkinson. I have been a member for 32 years, but some may debate I've only been a member for 16 years or so. My mum and grandma Colleen O'Sullivan would often bring me along to meetings, and from there my passion for WI grew. Watching them both take on many different roles inspired me to do the same and to become more involved. One of my goals was to become one of the youngest members on National, and I am proud to say that goal has become a reality. Throughout the years, society has made many changes, but it seems some issues remain the same or are going backwards, such as women's rights and racial divide, which is leading to a lot of uncertainty about our future ahead. My aim going forward is to be the leaders of change and bring more awareness to such issues as suicide rates, cost of living, pushing for equality for all, climate change and empowering women. Because when we empower each other, great things happen and we can accomplish anything. The decisions we make could impact future generations in all the wrong ways if we don't get it right now, which is why it's so important to act. I truly believe WI still has a place in the community to help make a difference. And I think if we get out there more in the public eye and show people how amazing this organisation is, they will see past the tea and scones. I would like to thank Alison and Faye, who put my name forward, my husband Jethro and Dad Wadamu Hopkinson, who encouraged me throughout the years to pursue these roles. I also want to acknowledge Kathleen Chase, or as I called her Granny, who was also a member and unfortunately passed away last year, which meant I couldn't ring to call her and let her know, but I'm sure she would be proud. Lastly, I would like to thank my mum. Over the past 4 years, I have watched you work tirelessly to raise awareness for women and children's rights, to include more Māori culture and inspire women to become members. You have always told me women can do anything and to fear the fear and do it anyway. I am a strong woman because I had you to raise me, and for that I am truly grateful. You were an inspiration to us all, and I hope I do you proud in this role because Lord knows I have some big shoes to fill. I hope all you ladies enjoy your conference, and I'll see you sometime in the future. Ngā mihi nui, Jessie Hopkinson.
Isn't technology wonderful? It was great that she could give her speech online. And now let's bring back Mary Reid.
You'll be sick of me. President Fay, NEC members, past national presidents, Gold Honour recipients, delegates, members and visitors. I stood here around 18 months ago. If you remember, we were at the Brentwood, and it was not this time of the year, it was September, October. Of course, I knew things would be a step up from my previous role on federations, but this 18 months has proved to be an enormous challenge, with restrictions from the COVID pandemic potentially affecting every event we were organising for the centenary and beyond. It has been my privilege to serve you on the NEC over this period of time. I've learnt a lot, and I feel better equipped to offer you another 2 years. Am I sure? Yeah, okay. All of us are volunteers, but this position has been more demanding than I imagine on our time and families. We have to be careful to get our priorities right, to keep a balanced life so that we're able to give our best to you, the members. I'm lucky to have the support of a wonderful husband who supports me in this role. He watches out for me to make sure I don't overdo it and that I stay well and able to serve you. Unfortunately, he failed a few weeks ago because he gave me COVID. It's all right, I've forgiven him, I still love him. My aim in continuing to volunteer for this role is to continue the work to make us a financially robust organisation in these challenging times, a tall order in itself. My aim is to reduce administration at local levels where we can without losing the integrity of the organisation, and above all, to continue to promote the WI as a place where we serve our communities and enjoy having fun together without too much of a burden of administration. Finding people willing to take on roles can be challenging, and we want to limit the challenge while still giving us all a bit of something to aim for. I want us to make the WI more accessible to those who are young or who have financial struggles. It would be great to see more women welcomed into our groups across the country. I know it's hard in some areas where young people don't seem to be interested or too busy to be a part of us, but we need to think what we can do to make people who do show an interest welcomed. We might need to think of creative ways of meeting the subscriptions at a local level. Maybe somebody is finding it hard to pay. Well, have a fundraiser for yourselves. Help to subsidise the subscription for your group. Why not? There isn't a rule, is there, Colleen? There isn't a rule. If there is, we'll put a remit in and change it. There isn't a rule that says you can't do that. So sometimes think out the box. If you're not sure, ask us. The worst thing we can say is no. We're not going to shout or be mean. Well, I won't. I don't think so. So I stand here, still nervous, even if I don't look it, and worried, but I'm still prepared to volunteer for you another 2 years, if you'll have me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. So there we go. Those are your 5 new NEC members on the committee. I'm now going to ask Tony Brumby to come up and speak on behalf of Catherine Hopkinson, the Mealing Estate Trust report. Welcome, Tony.
Good afternoon again. I better do this correctly as I didn't do before. Hello, President Kay, NEC, Gold Honours, recipients, delegates, past presidents, visitors. Speaking for Catherine Hopkinson. Annual report Please add Mavis Wilkinson's name as one of the trustees. Apologies, Mavis, for omitting your name in the annual report. It was corrected on the website later when it was brought to my attention. Speech for Mealing Estate. The Mealing Estate Trust offer scholarships to children or grandchildren of members who wish to study subjects in the fine arts. Members need to attach a letter with details of a relationship to applicant, details of name, institute and federation of the member they are related to. Individual members, federations or WIs can apply for projects or a course in the fine arts subjects. Official scholarship forms for members, Mealing 2A, and the form for the relatives of members, Mealing 2B, can be downloaded in the members area under members notices on the website, as well as the conditions of the application form Mealing 1. Applications must be on the official form with all relevant details. The trustees meet to consider applications for educational purposes and to reward WI winners in our Eva Rennie Supreme Award and National Handcraft competitions. Catherine Hopkinson, Mealing Estate Trustee.
Thank you, Tony. Just on the Mealing Estate, I got this card for the Mealing Estate trustees today from one of our recipients, and inside it says, "Thank you, WI, for the trust from Madison." "Thank you to the Mealing Estate Trust for my ballet fees. I'm now in grade 2 and off to dance days in Christchurch in July." So isn't that nice? That's what the Mealing Estate can do. Now I'd like to call on Judy Cathcart to give the Barbara Wood Memorial Trust report. Welcome, Judy.
National President Faye, past National Presidents, Gold Honours, NEC, members and visitors. Barbara Wood Memorial Trust Report 2021. The Barbara Wood Memorial Foundation was set up to commemorate the life and work of the late Barbara Wood. Barbara Wood was the Dominion President of the New Zealand Federation of Countrywomen's Institute from 1970 to 1974. Sadly, Mrs. Wood lost her life in the Mount Erebus air disaster 28 November 1978. The Foundation offers financial assistance to provide training opportunities to students who were born in New Zealand and the South Pacific. The criteria for 2021 was woman, Māori and Pacifica. 56 applications were received, 21 from women. The Barbara Wood trustees, Chairperson Faye Leonard, Catherine Hopkinson, Tony Brumby and Judy Cathcart awarded 7 scholarships to tertiary students from New Zealand and the South Pacific region, totalling $4,600. The trustees would like to thank the WIs and federations for their donations to the foundation. With interest rates at such a low rate, your donations are greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy, for that report. I'm now going to call on Tony Brumby, Marketing Committee Leader, to give her report on marketing. Welcome, Tony.
President Kay, NEC members, past national presidents, gold honours, delegates and visitors. Marketing. Well, the centennial celebrations started off a wonderful momentum with displays and plans for celebrations up and down the country. It was wonderful. And then COVID stopped it. Full stop. But having said that, in spite of that, there was still this amazing, there's still newspaper support, and all sorts of displays managed to get into the libraries and the museums. So you all did really, really well in very strained conditions. COVID has encouraged members to technology. Facebook member page, which has been growing daily. A closed, safe platform for sharing. Potential plans for this, so this is still developing. We're thinking along the lines of maybe some online circles with recipe challenges, craft pattern challenges, book reviews, shared initiatives, maybe shared resources, so pamphlets and ideas to help support people who are needing inspiration. I am rather pleased how this online platform has been developing. The public platform, we have many interested women who are more and more online these days with lockdowns, etc., who are inquiring with WI. I would love to be able to give them an avenue so they can join, because we do not have a WI necessarily local to them. So somehow we have to scoop them up and make them members and hopefully get some WIs opened in their districts. As mentioned today, we need to use our online presence to shine our light. The public platform that we have, the public Facebook, we need to work out what we can and what we are willing to share, because we want to respect everyone's privacy, etc. So that needs development. The website, as we know, the website needs updating. We all know this, but this will come at a cost. So a lot of discussion has been going on about the website, and we need to do it once, and we need to do it really, really well. Thank you, Donna. I love the open website idea, and I reckon we'll run with it. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony. Now, if you'd like to get your remits papers out, we will make a start. I'll now call on Judy Cathcart to take us through the beginning of the remits. Thank you.
Remits. Timing for the presentations. Mover, 3 minutes. Seconder, 2 minutes. Speakers, 1 minute. Right of reply, 1 minute. Presenting an amendment, 2 minutes. Seconder for an amendment, 1 minute. Presenting addendum, 2 minutes. Seconder for addendum, 1 minute. Constitutional remits. Remit number 1. We will be voting for the remit number 1 by a show of hands. National Executive Committee, that the first part of Clause 7, Section 10, Finance, regarding cheques is deleted and the clause altered to read 7. Online payments or transfers shall be authorised jointly on behalf of the WI by 2 members of the National Executive. Explanation: cheques are no longer a financial option. Seconder?
We second this remit. Thank you.
Do we just vote now? Does anyone wish to speak to the remit? So a show of hands for 4. Against? Carried. Remit number 2, Wairarapa Federation.
Janet Morrison, Wairarapa Federation. And to start this, we're talking about dual, because the actual remit is that sub-clause D, clause 1 of section IV, membership in the NZFWI rules and bylaws as amended September 2020 is deleted. Tells you a lot, doesn't it? The explanation is payment of one's annual subscription should be deemed a payment to belong to NZFWI as a whole. Members would need to nominate one WI for the purpose of entering competitions. NZFWI would consider this the WI they belong to.
Seconder?
Cape Breton Te Tararua Federation President. We second that.
The remit is open for discussion. No discussion.
Can I make a comment?
Yes.
I would just like to comment that being a treasurer on Federation, if you didn't have to worry about who was a dual member, whether that was full membership or half membership, it would make life a lot simpler. The Wairarapa has dropped from 6 dual members to 3, so we're not talking big figures here, and it'd make the treasurer's job a lot easier.
Voting is shown by circling your choice. Anything else on the paper will be none and void, and we're using the grey paper.
we didn't produce a book buying that because we wasted money. Yeah, well, I can see that. So some took it and wrote it in before because we didn't produce it. No. I think if you're abstaining, it's a shame. But it's a shame. But that's right. Yeah.
Remit 3, National Executive Committee. Associate members, that Section 4 Membership Clause 1, Subclause B, in the New Zealand Federation of Women's Institute Rules and Bylaws as amended September 2020 is deleted. Sorry. Explanation. By having only 2 levels of membership to the New Zealand Federation of Women's Institute, the amount of administration and financial time spent on collection of subscription will be cut substantially. Members will belong to the NZFWI as a whole. As NZFWI members, they are able to attend other WIs away from home as well as their local WI. Members will be able to meet in circles and participate in any event planned at the local or national level. The voting strength for the meeting is 138. Seconded.
Raywin Hill, Southern Wellington Federation, second that remit.
The remit is open for discussion.
Elmer Blakey, Janefield, WI. Associate members are full members, pay a full sub, the same as any other member of Institute. So I didn't know why there was 2 levels there. We'd like to ask that. They pay a full sub. Why does that have to change? They're loans.
No more discussion? So you'll be voting with the yellow paper. Could you please hold your papers up if they haven't been collected? Colleen is coming around. Thank you. Have all voting papers been collected? Yes.
Thank you, ladies. It's now time for our two presidential nominee speeches. So firstly, I'd like to welcome Suzanne Bannister up to the stage to give her speech, please.
That's better. Right. Good afternoon, President Fay, past presidents, NEC, delegates, members and visitors. I am Suzanne Bannister, married to Joe. We're sheep and beef farmers living at Westmere in the Wainururu district. Excuse me. 28 k's east of Masterton, halfway to the coast. We have 3 grown-up children, Genevieve, Natalie and William, and now 3 young grandchildren, Sophia, Eddie and Alex. I'm a registered nurse, working 3 days a week. Echo is terrible. Sorry. There's a big echo up here. It's 3 days a week in the 38-bed acute medical surgical ward at our local hospital in Masterton. I've been involved with WI all my life, from going to meetings with my nana and my mother, to being a member for the past 36 years of Wainururu WI. Throughout my time as a WI member, I have performed all roles as both Wainururu WI and Wairarapa Federation level. I was on NEC for 4 years and feel that with my experience and passion for WI, being your president is the next step in my WI journey. I'm feeling extremely honoured to have been asked to put my name forward for nomination as national president. I thought about it for months. I talked to my family and to WI friends locally and nationally. I decided it would be a great challenge, which I felt I was ready for. I aim to lead our fabulous organisation back on track by re-establishing open and honest two-way communication between all levels from NEC through to federations and on to local WIs, so that all our members are kept informed and feel included. To continue the service we provide to our communities through the contribution of our volunteer hours, donated goods and financial support. We need to be united in a practical national project for all our members to come together to remind New Zealand that WI does still exist. We have experience and knowledge that is very relevant in these current tough times. We need to play to our strengths. Promotion of WI is necessary in the wider community through more effective publicity and communication of the work we achieve throughout New Zealand, thus increasing WI's visibility. This should encourage women to join WI, therefore increasing membership. We must ensure that women are aware that WI is a safe place to meet other women, to form friendships and to support each other and our communities. I acknowledge that the past 2 years have been challenging for many because of the pandemic. I aim to continue to embrace the available technology, such as Zoom meetings, so that our members continue to feel connected, even when physical meetings are not an option. Going forward, this technology gives us opportunities to keep in touch with all members, even when they cannot personally attend meetings and activities. The long-term financial sustainability of WI requires foresight and dedicated decisions to ensure that we don't just survive, but that we thrive as a dynamic organisation for future generations. I want to encourage and inspire all women within our caring organisation. All changes and challenges bring opportunity. To quote Henry Ford, "If you always do what you have always done, you will always get what you have always got." I, for one, want to be leading the changes. If elected as your national president, I will be leading our organisation forward by bringing all members together, united in WI friendship for a collective cause. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. Now, Jude Vaughan. Welcome, Jude.
National President Fay, past National Presidents, NEC, Gold Honours awardees, fellow members, visitors, Executive Officer Colleen Dryden. From the talky streams of the River Test, the Royal Hunting Lodge of the New Forest, between the Rangitata and the Rakaia braided rivers, overshadowed and protected by Te Koikoi in the foothills of the mid-Canterbury, I've walked this incredible journey which has shaped me to the person I am today. The WI has been an important part of my life. My grandmother, my aunts were all engaged WI members. My mother is still an active member in Brockenhurst. I have that passion through my veins, as well as having to live up to a pretty high standard of WI-ness. The NZFWI is looking towards the future, and that will mean change and restructure. It is an exciting prospect, and I want to be part of that progression. I want us to urge more women to follow this path, to realise their potential through education and shared information, to become knowledgeable about important issues that affect women today, not just here in New Zealand, but worldwide. Impart our skills we have gathered over the last 100 years to other women through cooperation, friendship, fellowship, In essence, become a WI member and stay a WI member. You all know that the WI members are a force to be reckoned with. We are a valuable resource throughout the country. I want you to enjoy being a WI member again. Having exciting, loyal, dedicated members would be vital in the reorganisation and redevelopment of the New Zealand Federation of Women's Institutes. The NEC will want your input for ideas and workable solutions nationwide. As President, I will need you to have faith in me to use the skills and aptitudes I have gathered throughout my life. And together, with this exciting, hopeful committee for the 2022-2024 term, we all will work together towards the coming decades. Serving on the NEC under President Faye's leadership has been a joy, and I feel so lucky to have been given a chance to lead and govern as part of the NEC team. I believe that with this involvement and extended knowledge, I have a level of competency to continue this administration forward. My name is Jude Vaughan, and if you would like to honour me with your vote today, I pledge to lead the NZFWI with integrity, loyalty, trustworthiness towards the future, as well as having some laughter and happiness along the way. Thank you very much for your attention and consideration. Thank you, members.
Thank you, Jude. Do we have any results to a remit? We do, okay. You should all have your presidential voting paper at the ready. Remit 2, the results, and we'll just amend the number from 138 to 139. For 114, against 22, and 3 have abstained. Remit 3, 104 for, against 27, abstained or defaced 8. That brings a closure to today's afternoon session. So as you leave this afternoon, please deposit your presidential voting papers in the boxes by the doors on your way out. Thank you. And we look forward to seeing you all back here this evening at 7:30 for the Gold Honours presentations and prize giving. Do we... Ladies, please leave your Federation name cards up here on the stage and you can collect them again in the morning. Do not take them away because